Hey guys, and welcome to Relationship Chronicles. Today we have a cheating revenge story from one of my subscribers that I will walk you through with, and afterwards I'll give my opinion and advice to this subscriber on how to deal with this situation. Here we go. Update. When is D-Day really? I sat my wife down and explained to her that at this point, I'm ready to move on. I want a divorce. She told me that this thing with her coworker was nothing, and this is a ridiculous thing to want to divorce. So she offered to show me the text messages between them, and I accepted, but I was skeptical. It's so easy now to delete messages if they aren't actual SMS. Messages sent from the carrier, and these were not the messages I saw retain, but still not appropriate. She messaged him repeatedly. He flirted relentlessly over innocuous things. At one point on Thanksgiving Day, she said the turkey is in the oven, and he replied that so hot, sick another time. A week ago, she texted him around bedtime, saying that she was going to have another drink because it had been a long day for her. And he replied, "I'm so turned on right now. I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm in a weird limbo right now. There's definitely proof of inappropriate behaviors there. She has been hiding this relationship, gaslighting me, but what I've seen isn't necessarily a smoking gun. The texts are inappropriate, but not conclusively sexual, and also don't make sense in context, unless he's just a weird pervert. There was nothing explicit from her end, and she definitely wasn't flirting back, but also wasn't unreceptive to his advances. She begged me to reconsider, and I said, no. She begged me again to reconsider. And again, I said, no. I was firm. She begged me a dozen times. She finally asked me for just 2 counseling sessions. At this point, I relented. I said, fine, just a couple of sessions. If I'm not convinced that we can make it work, amending things though. So here I am. Not the satisfying update I was hoping for, but an update is an update. Thanks for the advice. I'll bring this up this week. We had a huge argument today because she felt like I wasn't fighting for the relationship enough. I told her that I only agreed to a couple counseling sessions, nothing more. She still doesn't think she did anything wrong, and maybe that's what irritates me the most. She knows she did something wrong, and on top of that, given a terribly out of context, sexual message. That's obvious. She's just mad you are moving forward without concrete evidence, since she feels like she did everything perfectly to conceal it. Definitely try the messaging app trick. And if your name is on the phone bill, just get the records. At this point, talking to her is useless. Trick her or circumvent her. It's not an app, but instead of data recovery specialist, geek squad, or cyber specialist, my name is on the phone bill. And I've already looked through the records. But unfortunately, this is all through iMessage. Thanks, Apple. Previously, they communicated on Facebook, but he said he was deleting his Facebook. He didn't. He's still her friend there, and she could communicate via iMessage or Signal. She has Signal, but there were no messages there. Schedule a polygraph. Plenty of security/background check companies out there cost a couple. $100. You'll get the truth one way or another with that? Why do they need to use the different messaging apps? Because they are cheating? Probably more than just inappropriate texts. I wouldn't believe a word she says. No way they had all those sexual conversations over a year. Nothing physical happened. I would assume she will say they only kissed if she admits to anything at all. Thanks for the advice. I'll bring this up this week. We had a huge argument today because she felt like I wasn't fighting for the relationship enough. I told her that I only agreed to a couple of counseling sessions, nothing more. She still doesn't think she did anything wrong. It's not what she did. It's what she's doing or not doing to fix things. The casual dismissal of your concerns and sense of betrayal is just another sign of the same disrespect that lead to the emotional, possibly physical relationship. A relationship is built on trust and respect. Before we continue, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Ask yourself, ask her if you do have that. Because if you don't, then what kind of relationship do you have? If you want to reconcile, the basic thing to fix your marriage will be for her to block this guy for good. If that guy is married, then she will have to talk to his wife and confess everything. She will have to resign from her job and find another job. You should have access to all her social media and her mobile. Don't give in. She has no desire to cut this guy off, and 100% will use counseling to further gaslight and abuse. You change your mind and don't go, or if you go, treat them 100% on how to learn to co-parent, be strong, and your resolve to leave. There's nothing left for you in this relationship. Focus on your future and how you will divorce and become good co-parents. Practice Grey Rock and 180 method. But if you do anything, don't hold out hope that this marriage is survival. It's not. Rule 2 of reconciliation is always the AP must be cut out, and she's proved she is unwilling to do that. When she can't take such a basic step and there's nothing to save, she just isn't concerned enough about your feelings. A marriage can survive when one party feels like they're drowning and the other party is not sympathetic. Hey, I didn't catch my wife with any hard evidence of sex, but my gut knew I found out. By being a pie, I add to things the old-fashioned way, caller ID hidden. Took how many calls were the most of 3 numbers. I called them first. One was where he worked, second one where he had a part-time job, and the third one was where he lived with his mom and stepfather. Told her I was going to talk with his bosses and get him in trouble. Then go and upset his mother with threats. She coughed up what I wanted. I was sick of her. I did not and could not even ever touch her. Her face or body just grossed me out. My love and my life was gone out of my body. The divorce was a battle. She tried to make it a war. I shut that down with 80 hours of phone call, takes no communications, no seeing her since I divorced her 29 years ago. She best be safer if I never see her in person. Everything in me for her just turned to pure hate. She was just pure evil. 2 personalities, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I can understand your point of view here, but this is almost half my life with one person. Undoing that is incredibly difficult. And I'm doing my best to ensure that this is an honest, rational decision instead of a divorce over, in her words, nothing. The way it looks from the outside may seem idiotic. Maybe I am being foolish by being willing to hear her out. But I would rather be sure than hold on to regrets. Don't take their criticism to heart. You are the one who will live with your choices. The hardest one is deciding what is true when you have a partner invested in protecting their deceptions. Go to chumplady.com. She has some information on how to navigate this. Also, look up the difference between remorse and regret, because most likely you are being idiotic. Your story is the same story told hundreds of times on this sub every year. The way your wife is reacting, the thing she is saying is straight from the cheater's handbooks, and you are being foolish to not recognize this. The advice given to everyone in your situation is pretty much the same, and almost all of them react the same way you have been initially. Then over time they come to see that everything that they were told would come to pass. Does happen. We see the post from the betrayed saying, Reddit, you were right. Do yourself a favor and go back through this sub and read some of the stories like yours. I feel like I can see it coming from a mile away, but I'm in complete denial about it. And the lying and gaslighting just makes it worse. It's hard for me to believe since we've been together for so long. I've never had a reason to doubt her or not trust her until this. To quote Will Smith, "This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I've done many divorces for clients and I've seen this script over and over again. Your wife is trying to convince you whatever is going on is fine. It will escalate if you do not enforce boundaries. I've seen this go sideways in pretty horrific ways. This is a big deal. If this guy means so little, she would cut off contact, especially after you started talking divorce. She thinks you're a chump, though, and probably thinks, no matter what she does, you will not leave. The best way to do that is made clear that you are beginning steps to enforce those consequences and specifically divorce. You can dismiss a divorce all the way up to the point where the judge signs the decree. It is a highly effective tool to show her you are serious. Interactions are a deal breaker. A lot of folks on her call it a Affair fog, and serving them with divorce papers wipes the fog away in a heartbeat. Several clients have done this and later reconciled before the divorce was final. Those that couldn't have any way, the marriage was too broken. She may walk when you file, but if that's the case, understand, it's not because of filing. It's because she realizes you won't accept her terms and you shouldn't to continue doing whatever she wants. You will know almost immediately how this will play out based on her reaction. Really, it is a great litmus test, so you don't waste months trying to fix this just to find out she doesn't want to fix it. Let's move on to my thoughts and advice for the person that is dealing with this problem. In this complex situation, your willingness to seek counseling reflects a genuine effort to navigate the challenges in your marriage. The inappropriate texts indicate a breach of trust, and her reluctance to acknowledge wrongdoing adds to the emotional strain. Considering the gravity of the issues, maintaining clear boundaries and prioritizing your well-being is crucial. The advice to explore legal options and enforce consequences resonates as a practical step towards resolution. Trust your instincts and prioritize your emotional health, as reconciliation depends on both parties actively working towards rebuilding trust and understanding. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, comment below with your thoughts on what happened. Take care.